specialize in music most people hate. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out our Facebook page, Instagram, and our website. Let us share the noise with you.
Yo, this is John from Noise Dosage Media, and this episode is brought to you by Begrudgingly Benny. Interested in putting something horrific and grotesque on your next piece of merch? Benny is tucked away in the fiery depths of COVID quarantine, blasting the filthiest of old school death metal and drawing hideous creatures that he is waiting for you to adopt. Go over to Instagram and follow @BegrudginglyBenny and contact him if you would like some really weird original art for your band or label. Super professional, highly recommended. Now, you were talking about In Flames. What do you think of the new material versus like Jester Race?
I would liken it to Metallica when they put out Load, Reload. People are going to like it for different reasons. Am I going to like it because it's, In Flames? No, maybe not necessarily. But do I like it? I mean, the last thing that I heard was that single "Deliver Us," an album or two ago. I thought it was cool. Do I listen to it in the same way that I would listen to like Horacle, Clayman, or Colony? I don't think so. They're just different. They're different entities. Those bands are in different places now. Metallica, In Flames. I wouldn't necessarily say they've lost their fire or their edge. They're just in a different place. They're not going to write those tunes anymore.
Yeah. I actually listened to Reroute to Remain. Like, that's my favorite album by them. I think that album is very I don't know, people don't really look as that's like a big one, you know what I mean? But
yeah, no, that was it was almost like a transitioning album for them.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's like fucking Saint Anger.
I wouldn't say Saint Anger. I would say it's more like a I don't know. It was almost like Load for them. It was kind of like the start of something new into what was the one after that? Cloud Connected.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if we're making those Metallica comparisons, yeah.
Right. Favorite Whitesnake song?
Oh gosh, Give Me All Your Love. I don't know. It changes. Give Me All Your Love is such a classic, but that's so hard. Honestly, I've been digging, and most of them are coming from, the self-titled, that's all John Sykes. Or mostly John Sykes. They did those couple that were on, Saints and Sinners. But I would say Bad Boys is probably my current favorite.
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys.
Are you like a big hair metal guy?
Oh yeah, everybody in Arsis is.
Sweet. Well, this is a great question.
Yeah.
So, since that you like hair metal, what's your opinion on Steel Panther?
It's like the Weird Al of heavy metal, I guess, like glam. But man, they're such good players.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Their live shtick is untouchable.
I've never seen them live, but I watch YouTube videos. I'm like, damn. One day.
It's so good. My God. We're watching them, and we saw them in the catering tent after it was at Heavy MTL in 2015. I don't know. Whenever we toured with Winter Sun, and so yeah, we're at Heavy MTL. We're in the catering tent, and they're in there. And Michael Starr is actually the only guy with real long hair. The rest of them have wigs.
Really?
Yeah, totally. But I mean, they rock it on stage. They're pretty good wigs, aren't they?
I did not know that.
Yeah, totally. But we're in there, and they're just all palling around, and I don't know. You don't, in that sort of situation, you just don't want to go up and be like, "Hey, you don't want to, fanboy on them," but because they're just like normal dudes,
Yeah.
We did get a picture with him, and we got a picture with Russell Parrish. I don't know if you know this. That dude has been around. Well, I mean, all these guys have been around, but
Yeah.
Russell Parrish has kind of done the most. And I think everyone kind of knows by now that he used to play with Rob Halford back in the day. He was in that band Fight.
Right.
Hell of a guitar player.
Yeah, he's insane.
But they were,
You watch that video of the young kid shred?
oh yeah. He's playing. Was it Hot for Teacher?
Eruption,
Oh,
man.
Eruption into really got me. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Man, but they're such good players and they write great tunes. I haven't heard the latest stuff, but those first two records are just are well written, and you can kind of like when you listen to it, you can kind of pick out, oh, that's kind of cherry picked from this sort of tune. Oh, and there's the stereotypical kind of ballad in G or something, you know.
Right. I feel like that's very hard to get away with. Like get away from in hair metal.
Both. Yeah. It's and have you checked out like that new wave of hair metal?
Well,
There's
give me
this
some
wave.
examples.
Oh man, like I wouldn't say Eclipse, but I would say, oh, let me bring something up.
Yeah, dude. I used to listen to all like I used to be huge into like Motley Crue and stuff. All of that.
You need to check out these guys. It's like Hardcore Superstar, Sister Sin, new wave of glam metal. Yeah, it's like some of it's like really sleazy, some of it's more like early,
It's
earlier
called
glam.
Sister Sin.
I'm sorry?
It's called Sister's Sin.
Yeah, Sister Sin is one. Crash Diet, Reckless Love is probably one of the better ones. Santa Cruz, but they're all coming out of Scandinavia.
Dude, I'm telling you,
It's
out of United States, any band is good. They're awesome.
Crazy Licks with 2 X's. I mean, so yeah, those are some of the more prominent ones. And some of these bands are getting pretty big. I forget where Eclipse is from, but heck of a vocalist. Really good leads too. Let me see.
I just added Sister Sin to my Spotify.
Sister Sin's okay. I would check out Crash Diet. Definitely Reckless Love. Like start with Reckless Love, and also check out Santa Cruz. Those guys shred. I'm not. I don't know about the songwriting. It's a little too vanilla for me, but no, but they're good. Oh, okay. Eclipse is from Sweden. Yeah. Also
Yes.
great band.
Okay, Eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. All right. So, what do you value most about being signed to Nuclear Blast Records? And was it worth taking the leap?
A lot of bands have this misconception about labels. A lot of people have misconceptions about labels and what they do, and basically, when you sign to a label, they don't just hand you the keys to the city. They give you the means to make it what you will.
Right.
It's they offer networking, friendship, and
connections for tour probably too.
Yeah, that's your booking agent, but man, like a promotion, seeing those guys at every show when we come through. So yeah, besides the business stuff, yeah, obviously friendship. Was it worth it? Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes. I mean, we were on Willowtip, I signed, or I joined the band right after they signed. I had no idea that they had done that. But I joined in like late 2006,
Yep.
and they'd already closed the deal. And and also when Mike Van Dyne took off, he left the band. Um, and Yeah, it was kind of a strange time to kind of just like hop into a band when one of the two principal members leaves. Um,
Mhm.
but uh, but Nuclear Blast, they kind of helped show us the ropes and um, helped us, with our business.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, it's not just a band though, you know?
right. Obviously, it's a band first and then a business.
Right.
Because if you don't care about what you do, that's so evident when a band hops on stage and they're just going through the motions, they don't give a
Yeah.
crap, and
You're like, "All right, you better come to the merch table after."
they're faking it. And then you have like bands like Ex Mortis. When those guys play, I believe everything. I believe every note. I believe every word. And
Yeah.
you can't fake that. Um, but yeah, to answer your question, yeah, they've done a lot for us business wise, but also personally, they're all good people. I couldn't think of a better place. There are a lot of good labels out there, but um, uh, Nuclear Blast it always seems at the top.
Yep. Yep. So, what can the label do for you that Arsis like currently can't do on their own?
Um, well, a big part of it's distribution. Um,
Yep.
to have that all in place already. Um, the, things that we couldn't do on our own. Um, I guess I'm avoiding saying money.
Yeah.
But because they're not like a bank or something like that. They're a mammoth label. Um,
Right.
and uh,
Yeah, probably I'd say distribution. Like I feel like that would be a huge help. Like if you're selling a lot of crap and you sell something on Monday and then Friday, like you don't want to go to a freaking UPS like every day out of the week. Just have somebody do that for you.
that's exactly right. They have mail order, they have distribution, they have um, uh, connections to printing merch. We've been with indie merch store, but Nuclear Blast has their own merch as well. Um, I mean, they have like how many decades of combined experience? Like
Yeah.
everyone there. Oh my gosh! Like as far as public relations, um, yeah, coding, um, uh, social media, which most of us can kind of handle social media on our own, but oftentimes, man, you're in the middle of Kansas, on a bus,
Right. Right.
like, and
I
and Wi-Fi's down. What do you
I
do?
think I think what sucks too is like I've noticed bands that don't pay for promotion or whatever on Facebook and are local and they have 6,000 likes or up. If they post something, depending on the hour, it'll like either get 20 likes or 400. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, it
there's no
definitely
in
depends on the
between.
time. Definitely depends on the time of days. Like, is a pretty big contributing factor to views and an audience, and of
Yeah.
course depending on what's happening. I mean, right now, obviously, with the pandemic and everything, people are staying up later, so you can kind of like post later in the day, and it's kind of fine. Everyone's home for the most
Yeah.
part. Um, but yeah, man, there are specific days that are better to post. There's a science to it.
Yeah.
Um,
Like algorithms.
yeah, kind of a general understanding of that algorithm. So yeah, I kind of hope that answers your question. Like these
Yeah,
these people
it
are
does.
just do nothing but like help you run your business with all of the knowledge that they've acquired.
Yeah.
Is it stuff that we could do on our own? Yeah, but it's helping us focus on what we do better.
Right. I every time I talk to a band that's on a label, I ask them that question in specific because like me as a musician myself, I'm like, do I want to start looking into that? You know, is that going to push my material to the next level?
I mean,
And
there are groups like Wolfpack, who have managed to do it on their own terms,
yep,
and they sell out, and you know, um, they're kind of like a mammoth group right now. Um,
right.
I mean, it's obviously not metal, but so it can be done. It's just, God, that's got to be so draining.
Yeah, just always working on something,
Yeah,
building
I
your
mean,
website
and
or
that's
doing
not to
merch.
say that you couldn't, you know, you couldn't do it for a little bit of time and then get picked up. Honestly, labels like that sort of initiative. So if you want to get signed, kind of doing it on your own is necessary. So you honestly do it on your own for, you know, some time. I mean, you start a band, you've got to be able to, you know, write your own
Yeah,
press
promote yourself.
releases. You've got to write your own press kits. You've got to do all that. You've got to book your own tours.
Yeah, I've
Um,
always been told that um the music is half of it. Like, okay, yeah, your music could be great or it could be bad, but if you promote it hard, like I like that's gonna either hurt or help your band. And I feel like a lot of crappy bands have made a big name out of themselves just because they just fucking hammer on social media. But
oh, for sure, man. I couldn't tell you who those bands were, but you know,
yeah. So reading through the bio that you have on Facebook, I was reading the recording process to Visitant, and it was a bit like unorthodox. Like I self-record and stuff, but I could just imagine of like how tough that would be to do like a full album. Do you guys plan on doing that same method for like future releases?
actually, yeah, it
Yeah,
was actually really easy.
yeah, and I feel like it seems like a lot, but in the long run, like, dude, I could sit in my fucking apartment and do 700 takes.
Are you telling me I don't have to put on pants to track this record?
Right, right, yeah.
You telling me I can just like swig a beer, take a pass at a tune, and if I don't get it, I can watch an episode of Rick and Morty? Are you
And then do
kidding
it
me?
again, and do it again.
Done. Oh, sign me up. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it was a little more than that. It enabled us to kind of work at home while we're doing it. Um, and it didn't take an extraordinarily long amount of time to
yep,
to get it done. We did. We hammered out some pre-production. Honestly, um, the biggest weight obviously is the post production. You finish the record and you're just waiting for it to come out. It was like 9 months or something.
yeah,
Um, Waiting for the right time to release because there are other bands that release stuff. Man, if you release something when Meshuggah puts out an album, it's just gonna get sucked
yeah.
into that
Water under the
vortex,
water under the bridge, man.
right? Um, but oh god, what was it? What came out? There was some movie that came out in like '94, along with like Forrest Gump, Jurassic Park, and it was actually like a decent movie or something. Was it Office Space? No,
Maybe.
no, Office Space was like later in the '90s. I don't know. It was some sort of movie came out. And it was just like engulfed by those like mammoth movies.
Yeah. It was
But
like,
yeah,
good try. Good
yeah,
try.
A for
Come back
effort.
later.
A for effort. But no, it was a really easy recording experience. Just I sent an affected track and a DI, a direct input track, and sent it to Mark, and boom, that's an album. That's a wrap.
Yeah.
We also did I did backup vocals, so I drove down to I did backup vocals with Sean. So I drove down to Oregon, to Portland, and I tracked him in his house, and I drove back up to Seattle. I did some backups. I was living in an apartment at the time, so I was like, I didn't want the cops call on me, for
Yeah, I'm living in an apartment now.
it's
I
tough, man.
literally a
To
half
do
hour
vocals.
before this. Yeah, a half hour before this chick was slamming on the fucking wall because I was listening to music. I'm like, God damn it. Would you just shut up?
So can you imagine just like just fucking
Yeah.
screaming, and like
Fuck
you get the
no.
cops called on you,
Fuck no.
is everyone okay in there?
Yeah.
So yeah, I found this I hit up Ben Bennett, who plays in a great Seattle band called Zoth. If you haven't checked out this album, it's terrific. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's like technical melodic death metal. I mean, it's fantastic. It's kind of very death. Very death. It's what else? I mean, there's some thrash. Yeah, pretty good stuff. But yeah, he used to play in a band called Warbringer.
Hell yeah.
Back in like 2008, they were on the Exodus tour with us. But yeah, so he hooked me up with this practice space. So we go in there and bust out some vocals. Boom, got it. Sent it to Mark, and sent him plenty to work with. And I think Brandon tracked all his stuff in Jersey, and Malone tracked his. He tracked some vocals with Mark, and I think he tracked all his guitars with Brandon as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but
So how did you guys keep the files neat and like tight?
As far as like the editing or like the naming scheme,
Just in general, like how many songs do you have on that record? Like 14 or something like that?
no, not even. Was it 11? 10 or 11?
Oh shit, 11. You're right.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, we had working titles for all these songs too. So like by the end, by the end of the record, they all had names. So that was honestly the most difficult part. Not really like importing them, kind of like working with the mix and the master, like giving critiques, like, I like the master on, or I like could you change the bass on this track? Well, what's that one called? I don't know.
Yeah, no, and that it's kind of a dumb question, but at the same time, it's like I could just imagine like 11 songs with 4 different studios. Fuck. But
I mean,
it depends.
Yeah, I forget which song was "Cigarette Burns," but it's like I know the working titles better than the real ones. Yeah, Time is Hellsworn, Time Unleashed.
Mm-hmm.
But oh no, Time Unleashed is from Unwelcome. But yeah, that was another working title, so. Yeah, you get close to these songs and you get close to the working titles because you're around them for so long, for like the months during the writing period, and then like just that sense of urgency when you're recording them, and then when they come out, it's like I don't know, it's like an old girlfriend having changed her name.
Right now, do you mic up a bass cab, or is it all?
I've never mic'd up a bass cab for a record. I've always wanted to. We almost did that on Unwelcome, but we ended up going direct. I've always gone direct. I've never used a mic. I've always wanted to mix the two.
Yeah.
Especially now I've got this like killer mid-90s Mesa.
Oh, dude, I've been trying to sell my freaking Mesa 4x12 for last month.
Which one is it? One of the Road Readies?
It's 4x2. It's like a slant. I don't know the exact name,
It's a
but
slant?
it's a slant 4x12 guitar cab.
Oh, guitar cab. Oh, I'm thinking bass.
Yeah. Dude, it's a $1,200 cab, and people are like, I can only do $400.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm like, I'd rather use it as firewood.
The 212s go for more than that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm like, kiss my ass. But
especially right now, they're probably going to be tough to sell. Like on
Yeah.
Reverb, everyone's like discounting their stuff.
Mm-hmm. But so, who's a better guitar player, Joe Satriani or Eddie Van Halen?
Oh, that's tough, man. That's super tough. That's like they each have their own thing. I feel like Satriani can do more things. He's more versatile. But man, without Van Halen, there would be no Satch.
Shit, Eddie took the gold?
I mean, yeah. I mean, Satriani kind of was inspired by Van Halen to pick up the instrument in the first place.
Yep. Eddie, he's my favorite, man. He actually got me to start playing guitar. I saw him when I was like 15. But.
I would say that, you know, I've always been I've been a fan of both, but like my high school band was a Satriani cover band. We did nothing but Satriani songs. That was like, I'd been playing like a year and a half, and it made me like so much better. Made me a better listener, a better writer. But yeah, so always love for Satriani.
Word. Well, that was my like last official question. Is there anything else that you guys have like cooking up or stuff you want to like promote?
Well, let's see. I know James is working on Sacrifix. It's kind of like it's kind of like new wave, like
Gotcha.
new retro wave kind of stuff. Very synth wave with guitar. Brandon's been doing Black Dahlia Murder, of course. They put out a top selling record pretty recently. Firmness, yeah. Yep. Fantastic, all killer, no filler.
Yes, and, no filler.
Yeah, sporting those 80s riffs. And let's see. Sean has been posting some drum videos here and there, and I've done. I did a couple tracks with Jeremy Kling and Taylor Nordberg, both guys from Massacre and The Absence. Jeremy also plays in Venom Inc. But they did this awesome series of like 12 songs that. So it would be like they're like one song one day, full mix and a master. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was so sick. I did two of those.
Yeah, that's tough.
And
I saw Midnight do that.
Midnight, the singer?
No, the band.
Oh, okay.
They like wrote a song in a day or whatever. It was actually kind of good.
Man, it's tough to do. Like you feel that sense of urgency. Like I'm like, I was looking at the clock. I'm like, I've got a 3-hour window to finish these bass parts. Like I'm like writing them, while I'm tracking them. And so yeah, it was fantastic. Jeremy hit me up and asked if I wanted to do one. I was like, of course. Yeah. It was with Jeff Dunn from Venom, and he did the lead. And it was, what was the first one? The first one was, kind of like a Crocus sort of Judas Priest worship kind of tune. And yeah, so they woke up at like 7 or 8 in the morning, wrote the song, tracked it, and I got it by like noon, I think. I finished my parts by like 2:30, sent them over, and it was posted by 8 o'clock.
Shit.
And who did vocals on that? It was Mark Lopez, who sings for Ross the Boss. It was one of the Ross the Boss, one of the guys who formed Manowar. And then the second track was kind of was like Bay Area thrash, and one of the guitar players from Exodus, one of the guys from Heathen who also plays in Exodus sometimes. He was filling in for Gary. Yeah, he played on it. Singer from Aggressor, Old James, was on it. But yeah, pretty fun tune. But working with them was awesome. I'd do it again, heartbeat.